Hello and welcome to UK Gaming Network's review of September 2017. Once again, it's been a month dominated by sport, with the annual tradition of Pro Evo vs FIFA being joined by the battle of the NBA, with 2K now having serious competition from EA's Live. Away from sport, September is always a month where big games start to arrive, and there have been a couple of massive releases, although not all of them have delivered the goods. Marvel vs Capcom Infinite is a particular disappointment. All the highlighted games that follow are titles that we recommend, unless explicitly stated, followed by what we consider to be the best of the lot. Our game of the month will always be a brand new release that hasn't appeared previously on another system. Betas and early access are not included. And just for the record, Pro Evo wins this year and NBA Jam is still the best basketball game. We really liked the original Life is Strange, liked it so much in fact that when we did our list of the best games of 2015, it was at number 2, with only The Witcher 3 beating it. So final was the story, however, that we feared the worst when this prequel series was announced. Happily, it's turned out to be another excellent visit to Arcadia Bay and the students of Blackwell Academy. You may feel, like we did, that you don't want to know more about the characters, but showing us how Chloe's life was forever affected and shaped by her relationship with Rachel Amber has delivered an emotional opening episode. We can't wait to see what happens next, and hopefully the same sensible release pattern as the first series will apply.
Clear the area so we can move in.
Two things will strike you when you boot up Destiny 2. Firstly, freed from the shackles of last-gen consoles, it's a beautiful looking game, making full use of the PS4 Pro hardware to create some truly stunning environments. Secondly, Bungie's ability to stage a fantastic gunfight has not been diminished, and this features arguably the best gunplay of any game since last year's Doom. I'm not going to pretend that this opinion is based on more than a few hours of gameplay, and I know I've barely scratched the surface of what the game has to offer, but it seems to have expanded and improved everything like a good sequel should, even if it lacks the immediate appeal of something like Borderlands. When you first realise how much detail and background Larian Studios have given to an incidental character, who most players will never see or talk to, is the moment you understand just how special Divinity Original Sin 2 is. This is a lavish and rich world that truly feels like it would go on living without your presence in it, and you should be prepared to set aside many hours of your time to exploring its regions. In fact, it's possible to spend a chunk of time on the character creation tool alone. This is easily one of the best RPGs we've played all year, with great depth, challenging combat and a fantastic story. And how could anyone dislike a game where you can turn your enemies into chickens? Ice hockey has always made for an excellent video game. Dating right back to the Mega Drive, EA's NHL series has consistently delivered the same high-speed thrills year after year, and NHL 18 might just be the best yet. There are plenty of play modes available, from full-on career mode to online, and you don't have to know your Penguins from your Rangers to enjoy it. The controls are so perfect that anyone can play and be taking shots on goal, barging opponents into the side within minutes. We've always said that we take fun over realism any day, and nothing gets into the spirit of what a sports game should be than an arcade-like match of NHL 3s between two teams of mascots. The original Steamworld Dig was over too quickly. An enjoyable mix of platform exploration and Minecraft, it showed signs of greatness in its brief playtime, and that potential has been realised in this superb sequel. The basics of the gameplay haven't changed. You still dig down into the map, collect treasures and return to the surface to spend your wealth. But the map is now much bigger and with more variety of locations to explore. There's even an improved selection of toys to buy. It's all presented with a level of character and polish that most indie games never achieve, and there's so much to do and secrets to find that it's easy to get distracted from what you're supposed to be doing. It's not enough these days for a driving game to just feature realistic handling and tracks. There needs to be something extra to make them stand out. Project Cars 2 not only features some truly fantastic opposition AI that will make mistakes and defend track position like any human racer, but it also has the most impressive weather, night and lighting effects we've ever seen. The first Project Cars was a disappointment, but this finally feels like the game we were promised first time around, and it even has menus that aren't a chore to navigate. You'll find a challenge regardless of your level of ability, particularly the ice races which will test even the most hardened of racers. Most games give you a pretty solid impression of what to expect from the trailer, but Hob, the latest from Runic Games, makers of Torchlight, is actually a different and much better game than the one we were expecting. Rather than a platform game, it's an action-adventure, with a huge map that can be explored at your own pace, including many Zelda-like dungeons where you can unlock new abilities. The puzzles in these dungeons feel like they were part of the world, rather than just chucked in giving you something to do, and if you ever get stuck, taking the time to look around will always reveal the solution. We've waited 22 years to be able to play Star Fox 2, and the arrival of the SNES Classic Mini finally gives this long-lost sequel an official release. The Star Fox series has never been unafraid to try out new ideas, and the structure here puts you on the defensive, where you must protect the planet Corneria from attack, choosing levels in any order. This means no two playthroughs will be the same, and some levels can be missed entirely. Being able to select your pilot is another nice touch. After all, why would you play as bland old Fox McCloud when you can be Slippy Toad instead? Ultimately, you can tell why it was scrapped in favour of Lilac Wars for the N64, but this is an enjoyable nostalgia trip all the same.
Here's a real high-class battle. Now go!
All that could be heard around the Cuphead screens at EGX was players ranting about how difficult it is. But moaning about how hard this game is like complaining that all you get at Starbucks is coffee. That's the reason for its existence. There's a tradition of games that are made to punish the player, where completing them is like a badge of honour, and Cuphead deserves to sit alongside the likes of Super Meat Boy, Volgar the Viking, and especially Alien Hominid on this list. In gameplay terms, it's very much in the realm of Metal Slug and Contra, with classic run and gun levels and brutal boss fights, and the punishing difficulty comes from having only 3 lives before you're forced to restart a level. What makes the game truly special though is the presentation. The hand-drawn animation and painted backdrops are quite simply superb, and the artists deserve every accolade they will undoubtedly receive. It really is like you're playing a living cartoon. If you're not somebody who shies away from a challenge, then Cuphead is highly recommended. We hope you enjoyed UK Gaming Network's roundup of the games of September. We now move on to Broketober, and what's traditionally the biggest month of the year for AAA releases. Come back next month to find out if any were worthy of your attention. Let us know what you think of this video in the comments, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.